Welcome back, ladies. Look who's next to me.
I'm so excited to be back.
Are you so happy you're feeling better?
Yes. I was
me
dead
too.
for a week and I'm back. I recovered, recouped, and here I am.
I missed you when you were gone.
Everyone loved the episode.
I was like,
no, everybody loved the episode.
she's gone. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. I'm glad that you're feeling better and you're here with us because you know what we're going to talk about today?
Dating.
It's such, we talk a lot about intimate relationships, but there's a lot of babes out there who are in the dating world, and COVID is making it a little bit harder and trying to get into, ruining people's games out there. But let's get into the do's and don'ts of dating. This is so, last episode, I have to fix my mic because this is all just, we're getting back in the swing of things.
I was just going to say, we're figuring our lives out again.
It was just so weird not having you right next to me because I just love looking over at you and like talk. Yeah, so now I have to adjust my mic because you're back. So
I'm here.
Here we are.
Oh my gosh.
So today we're going to talk about dating. I feel like we have a lot of questions over especially even since COVID, I feel like we've had a lot of questions come in about just how to get back out there.
I think it's hard also to navigate. You're with someone and you don't know them very well. So you're navigating communication, you're navigating their personalities, and also you're trying to figure out how should I be acting. So it's tricky waters like in the beginning.
For sure. And it's like, you're like, what do we, it's time to get to know someone.
Yeah.
And what I will say with COVID is it's making for a lot of socially awkward people because we're so stuck at home, and that it's even with friends, it's like sometimes you hang out, you finally see your friends and you're just like, it's so weird being out and about. It's so weird to like, what do you even talk about? Especially if you've just been, it's like kind of in the mundane. You're kind of like doing the same thing, the same kind of routines every single day because you're stuck at home, or you're just the only place that you can go is work. It's like hard to have something exciting to talk about.
No, and then your date is on Zoom.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Like
I could not
I'm
imagine.
not a big drinker at home. So like the thought of, okay, I'm going to drink and sit with someone on my computer and drink with you. I'm like, that is not appealing to me. And then how can you tell if there's chemistry really through Zoom?
I mean, it's a different world for sure. And a lot of people ask me, I know this is going into the technology things, way of things. But for years, a lot of people would ask me what I feel about technology and if I feel like that's getting in the way of relationships. And, I love technology, and I think it actually has helped relationships. I think it's actually united a lot of people. It's connected a lot of people. Sure, there are some things that I fear, especially as it relates to organic relationships and really cultivating that, because I think relationships are pretty much the essence of life and how we relate and everything. But this new world of dating, because of not just technology, but because we're in a pandemic, like it's a different ball game. And I'm here to learn because I love hearing your stories.
Oh, when I used to be dating, it was the best. Mm-hmm. And in the world of online dating is even scarier, like with apps, because then you have to worry about, are my pictures good? Do I look like my pictures? That's scary.
Honestly.
Like if someone shows up and they don't look like their pictures, then are you selling yourself well? Also, guys, if any guys are watching this, we don't want to see you with dead fish.
No.
And also if you're
dead animals in general. I mean, you could be a hunter that's, beautiful, but like we just keep them out of your profile.
Don't want it. Also, another tip, do not, I love that you're an uncle, love that you love your nieces and nephews. We don't want to see your picture with your nieces and nephews because then it looks like you're the father.
Oh, okay.
But then the caption always says,
that's something to bring.
I'm an uncle.
Right. Okay. So that's a good point. You know what? And what I got excited about with what you were just saying is because I think that we are pretty good at writing bios. Not my own. Don't check mine out on the Ladies Coach. But I definitely feel like we should do a how-to creating a dating bio.
That would be fun.
I think that that's something that we should definitely do. And especially for my ladies. Okay, so going back to the uncles thing, I never even thought of that. But that's actually something for my fellas who are watching this right now. That's something to bring on the date, to talk about. You know, that's something you can say, you know, of things that you love to do if you have your nieces and nephews, and even if you have your kids, right? That's something to talk about on the date. And obviously on the bio, because that's important too, if you have kids.
But it's so funny because like anyone that's on dating apps will know this. There's like cliche pictures that you always find. Right. And it's always the dead fish, the baby tiger.
The baby tiger.
Like they go to the tiger places.
What?
I'm so against it. I don't want to talk about it.
Baby tiger, like zoos?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not here for that.
So it's always the dead fish, the baby tiger, and then the uncle picture. It's cliche, like every
That's
person.
crazy, really?
Yes. So
Okay,
I'm like, break away from the cliche.
I need to immerse myself.
I just sign up I'll sign up for Bumble just for research purposes right now.
I honestly
sorry to my boyfriend.
I really need to dive in and immerse myself in the dating culture online. But pretty much what we're going to be talking about here is, I think, universal. Whether you are on an in-person date or doing this thing online, I think that there's so many opportunities to really open up and allow yourself to get to know a person. I know it's nerve-wracking because, you know, especially if you're just coming out of a relationship or you've been single for a while and you're just now wanting to get into the dating world, it's nerve-wracking because you're just like, what do I talk about? What are the things, like, you know, how do I really connect with a person? What are the right things to say? What are the right things to do? It's really just like, it's a stranger, right? So I get it. But I hope that these tips help. We're going to get into it. Chrissy's going to start it off.
Can I do that? Okay, so we're doing the do's and don'ts
of
dating. And when we talk about dating, we're talking about like first dates, not necessarily you're dating someone for
a while.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I'll be the don't.
Ooh, okay.
Do not talk about your ex or past relationships.
But do answer questions honestly without dwelling too much on the past. The reason why this is so important is because it's, you know, again, we're nervous and we're getting back into the dating world, and the first thing I see a lot of ladies doing this, men too, but I'm talking to my girls. It's so easy to talk about your past relationships because it's like, okay, well, let's talk about why I'm not dating or why I'm not in a relationship. Because the one thing you think about is, I mean, I think we all do, is how is this person not in a relationship, right? Because it's like you want someone single, but you also want to know that they have some history of sustainable relationships. So I know it's easy to go there, but I'm asking you to not go there.
I was thinking though also, has Andrew ever bashed any of his exes?
Never.
That's what I was thinking, because I was thinking about my boyfriend. Now I'm like, I've never heard him talk negatively about anyone he's been in a relationship with, which I think is a good reflection.
And that is really, really important. Make sure, you know, because you can tell a lot about a person. And again, about how they not only, you know, how they think of people and others, but also just the meaning that they give past relationships, because that is some foresight into, you know, what you're trying to get in, you know, what you're ultimately trying to get into. So definitely seeing how someone speaks about people in general and how they treat people in general, which we're going to get into.
I don't think that's on here.
No.
We need to talk about it though.
Okay, so let's put that in there. How someone, and again, online it's going to be harder to see, you know, how they interact in the world around them. It's easier when you're on a date because you can pick up on these little small gestures and small energetic presences, and you can, you can see how they treat the wait staff and how they treat you, right? Just with their presence. It's harder online because, you know, you're not really, it's easier to hide your world, in front of somebody. But if they treat the wait staff or anyone around them below them or just like shit, ladies, that's a red flag. I don't care how hot this person is. And if you are one of my girls coming from, more of the sexual erotic blueprint, even if they are hot, I would, and you're just like, you know what, this will just be a nice lay. Make sure that it just stays there. If I just would not want anyone who treats people shitty around me.
No, that's just their basic. No.
I don't care how hot. And I know a lot of ladies, this is a red flag. Like, take a red, like, we all know red, like, I know we get emails and, it's always questions because it's always 3 years down the line that you pick up on things.
Well, we ignore red flags.
Because you ignore the red flags. They're there and you knew it, but you continue on with this person. But these are, let's not, this is just clear cut do's and don'ts. Do not ever get with somebody who treats people like shit. Okay?
Yep. I took your position. Sorry. Do talk about yourself, but not in excess.
Oh, yes. This goes back to the nervousness because when you get nervous, it's easy to just, okay, I'm going to, you don't want any awkward silences. You don't want any dead air, so it's easy to just run the conversation, right? Especially because I'm not generalizing, but a lot and most masculine men are not wordy. Okay, so with Andrew, I remember we would go to dinner and he would just sit there, and he would listen. And then he was quiet. And I'm like trying to fill the air. I'm trying to come up with topics. I'm trying to, I was trying to do, and this is just when we were friends. But even then it was awkward. So I couldn't imagine, being with a man or you're a woman who has that presence or more introvert or has a masculine presence about them where they just want to, they're taking in the room, they're taking in the space. So then your nervousness is going to make you run the conversation. And then it's easier to ignore red flags because you haven't seen them engage.
Or ask them any questions.
Ask them about themselves. I think a lot of times we fear, initiating questions because we might not like the answers, or we might not think that there's three reasons. Some of the biggest reasons is that we're more interested in being interesting than listening.
Wow.
But the other reasons is just because of, if they were to say something that you just aren't really in tuned with, or maybe maybe they have a job that you have nothing to contribute to, it's that fear of, what if I don't have anything to contribute to what they say? But I want you to put that aside and allow yourself, and that makes it even more interesting when you don't know. Maybe they have an odd job that you've never even heard of before and you don't even know where to go with that. That makes it even more interesting. Tell me more. And that allows them, especially with someone like an Andrew and Tim.
Exactly like that.
To actually have the floor.
Yeah. Because
they're not going to speak unless there's something to talk about, and so unless it's something that is important to them. So that actually makes it even more interesting.
Wow. Okay. So don't drink too much. Although you might be nervous, you don't want to go overboard. I did this one time. It was, I don't know, I'm going to share this on the internet. Oh, no.
I wish I had tea.
I don't think I've even told you
where's
about
our wine?
This
is where we need our wine.
This is so embarrassing. Okay, here we go. I literally don't care. Okay. I was working at Hooters. I met the hottest guy. He was a fireman. I'm like, he is the hottest person. Was I going to date him for the rest of my life? Probably not. But I'm like, okay, we're going out.
Yeah.
He invites me over. He's going to cook me dinner. I'm like, this is incredible.
Oh, that's hot.
So hot. He was so hot. I blacked out
Oh my God.
and woke up naked in his shower.
Wait, did he put you in the shower? Did you throw up?
He cleaned me.
Oh, God.
Which is so sweet. Never wanted to talk to me again, though. And I can't blame him to this day. So, sir, if you're watching this.
Sir,
I apologize. I'm a better woman now.
And thank you for taking care of my girl.
But thank you. Yeah, like he was a gentleman.
I love
He showered me. And I woke up and then he let me sleep in his bed. He slept on the couch.
Oh.
And then I left and was ashamed for the rest of my life.
See, and there are many things that I appreciate about him. First, he took care of you. He also did not take advantage of you. That is not the time. Fellas, if you are, don't, that is not the time. That'll go into a deeper topic. But how he just handled that whole situation.
Not good on me though. So don't drink too much because you put yourself in danger. And
number one, danger. You want to minimize risk when you are dating people. So one, it's, even if it's online, really, really filtering out before meeting up with somebody and having some plan A, plan Bs. And we'll talk about that with my cousin who is probably watching. What we told her is just if you're going to plan a date with somebody you don't know, just make sure people know where you are, and go to a public place. But anyways.
I think the good thing, well, like for online dating though, I would never have let that happen. But I knew who he was because he had been in my place a couple times. I knew his friends. So, like I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
But he wanted literally nothing to do with me because I was a disaster of a human.
Well, you're not anymore. So
well, I was the other weekend,
but I appreciate him taking care of you.
Yeah. Okay. But so don't drink too much.
Don't drink too much. Sorry, my phone keeps Do have a cocktail to loosen up if you like. Go by the 1 or 2 drink minimum or maximum. Oh God. Okay.
We're like, don't drink too much. Just kidding. Drink.
Don't follow what Christal does. Okay. Thank you. Drink more. Oh my God. This ensures any and all possibility of you making a hot mess cakes of yourself and or the possibility of you getting sick in front of your date. Wait, Chrissy.
Did you write that for me? I'm so embarrassed.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
ladies,
my God.
I wrote this years ago, but that couldn't have been more perfect. Thank you for sharing that story, Cakes. That was
Wait, I didn't even know that was gonna happen.
That happened.
Oh no.
I will say that I had also a hot mess of a dating story where I actually got wheelchaired out of a nightclub here in Vegas. I'm throwing it out there. First time, so I had ended my long relationship when I was younger. It was like my first long relationship. And Andrew's my second, by the way. In between, I'm dating people. And there was this guy that I met who I'm actually really thankful I met because he kind of like connected the dots to how I met Andrew. Wow. Anywho, I was living at San Diego at the time and he was here in Vegas, my hometown. So I was going to come and see my family and then also hang out with him. So we go out. And this is the first time, like we've never done anything. This is our first date. He takes me to this beautiful restaurant at the Wynn and everything was just like amazing. And then we go out and I thought, cause this is why you don't want to be the cool girl, but I actually like am pretty good with alcohol, until this, but I love tequila. And he loved tequila. And I was just like, I can outdrink you anytime. This is not where you want that to go, ladies. This is what I'm trying to say. This is not. And so we did shot for shot.
No.
Shot for shot.
First of all, you're tiny.
And I got wheelchaired out of the nightclub. And thank goodness this guy was also a gentleman and took care of me, made sure also cleaned me, make sure I was safely getting home, all of those things. So thankfully, there are some beautiful people out there that, but that could be a really crazy situation. Yeah, I had my friends around and everything like that, but it's just like those are the situations you never want to put yourself in, especially with somebody you do not know and ever.
No.
Okay. So we're not like the role models here, but we're just telling you our story.
Well, it's like a cautionary tale.
It's a cautionary tale.
Because he wanted nothing to do with me after that. Well, first of all, I could have been killed. Worst case scenario, killed.
You'd be on crime junkies.
Best case scenario, he wanted nothing to do with me. And I don't blame him.
Right.
Okay. After that, don't dominate the date.
I think we were talking about that, like the just
Talking too much?
yeah, just taking over the conversation. You want like a pitch and catch kind of flow to any date, and that's kind of like when you're with your girlfriends. You want that like you're contributing, they're contributing. It's like that pitch and catch, and you want that.
What do you think in terms of planning the date? Or like my friend loves to plan stuff. So like her dream though is to have a guy that will be like, hey, I'm picking you up at 6:00. This is where we're going. And that's her dream.
I love
But she's yet to find a guy that does that.
Uh-huh.
And she's a planner herself. So she respects that in other people. And that's like her dream to have someone that does that. But so I feel like she can tend to dominate things because guys don't do it.
Yes, and I can see that. I think, you and I have that in us as well. But this is a time because, if you want someone to show up in that way, you got to let them just show up. A lot of times our fear that a person isn't going to do it just makes us just do it, but then it alleviates the responsibility from that other person as well.
And doesn't create the space for them to even try.
Yeah, and so, and also, because that's a masculine edge. And a lot of ladies, this is what, this is an example of what I talk about where, you hear people say we all have the masculine and feminine energies within us. And that is a beautiful, and they're constantly flowing within us. That's that masculine edge where, you want to, for me, it's not just the nurturing where everybody thinks it's just the feminine quality of like, I want to take care of this and I want to take care of that. That masculine edge is also, I want to structure and provide and create, right? Those are like the values of the masculine. Also the feminine, if you want to think about the mamas. But if you want someone to show up in that way, you got to leave room for them to show up in that way. You have to create that space. And it doesn't feel good, or it's kind of, especially for the ladies who are very structured and on a schedule and very organized and knows the experience that they want. I raise my hand. You should raise your hand.
Too. Mm-hmm.
That it's really easy to get into the control of it. Mm-hmm. Is this episode really about us?
I know.
Okay. You want to get in the control of it, but I ask you, to really, really create that space and let that that partner show up in that way, if that's what you really want, because if you are truly of the feminine core, we have both, but if you're truly of the feminine core, you do want that masculine to show up in that way. And it doesn't matter. It's not gender based. It's just that masculine presence because we all want to be taken care of, both men and women. And so just really, as hard as it is for my type A ladies,
yes.
Really, really take a step back and let those gents or those ladies show up for you in that way. It's really hard, but let them plan.
Okay.
And for a masculine, especially with Andrew, because in our relationship, I handle like the majority of things that we're doing, So for this upcoming trip that we're doing, he actually, it's not in the way that I would plan and organize. I would have a system and everything, But he wants to take care of me. And then that's where he gets to fall into more of his masculine energy. And then it allows me that freedom to just be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to show up, So the do here, ladies, is to let the date flow. So that pitch and catch, the dominating of the date. I love that you brought that other side to it is is the one, really planning the date and doing all of that, but really in that way, but then also in how you dominate the space and really just, it's a time to like allow that flow to happen between you two so you guys can get to know each other.
This is kind of unrelated, but maybe a little related into the flow part. If you show up, I think you need to go into everything with an open mind.
Yeah.
Because people might surprise you. So like, I feel like my attraction for my boyfriend right now grew into what it is now, but I didn't feel that up front. I hope he never watches this. And love you so much. But same friend, because I have one friend that's like currently dating around. So she's my inspiration. she'll go into it in like 3 seconds in, be like, I don't like him. And then completely her energy shut off for the rest of the date.
Right.
And then she's texting me. I'm like, be nice to him. Be open to it. You never know what's going to happen. But try to go into things with a more open mind, because you never know, and people might surprise you. And they might be nervous at first too. So
100%.
like you might not be seeing their best either.
I wouldn't be with Andrew if it didn't grow in that way. And also, a lot of times, we don't know, how am I going to put this into words? Most of the times, not even a lot of time, most of the times you don't even know what you need. You can't even articulate what it is. So you can create a list all day, all night of things that you want, which I do suggest you have those, knowing your values and the standards of life. Those are really important. But a lot of times what you need is someone, especially for me, I need somebody who's more playful. I need somebody who has that light energy, who has that essence about them of, I also have that go with the flow, but I also can get stuck in the rigidity of life, and that's too much of the structure and and trying to keep everything together. That a lot of the times, what you need in a relationship is somebody you would never put on paper. So always be open and see how your body and your presence feels around them. If you start to open up, or if you start to feel more free around them, like that's a good thing, but you'll never feel that if you have those expectations going in and you're judging them. Because if you're coming from a judgmental place and you're critiquing and judging everything a person is saying, they can feel that energy. And then it puts them it's like the light is on them. And they're kind of they're kind of in the spotlight, and then that kind of creates more of an awkward date for them too, because even though you're not saying anything, that energy, that presence of that judgment and that I'm critiquing and that, people feel that. And so really just, you're safe within yourself. You don't have to make any decisions after this date. Just allow the date to happen organically.
And just have fun.
Have fun.
That's like the point of dating. Just have fun.
Have fun.
Which leads me to
But don't have too much fun.
Okay.
Don't get wheelchaired out and don't get blacked out.
Don't black out and end up in the shower.
Okay.
Also, this is our final don't. Do not talk about marriage. You do not need to know right off the bat if they're going to make a good husband or father or wife or mother. Mm-hmm. Right now, you just need to know the basics of this person and whether you like them, whether you don't like them, but you don't need to figure out your entire life with them.
No, this is not the time, not the space. This is the time, and this is where the do comes in. Do talk about future goals and aspirations. What is it that you aspire, to create or to be? What are you working towards? What are some places you'd like to travel? Those are where you can start getting an idea of some personal values, not necessarily core values, but some personal values, just to see if there's common interests. You really, it's really just basic. Let's get a feel for what this person is interested in, how they see life. What are things that they're doing in the world, what besides their job, because a lot of people love talking about their job because it might be like all these things purposeful and like they have like great relationships there. And then some people, it's just a job to them, but they have other things that they like to do. So don't get concerned when somebody pivots from maybe a question you asked about what you do or what your job is, even though you're trying to get, and maybe they pivot to an interest. Go there and even talk about things that interest you. And that's kind of where this first date, you want the first date to go, because that's when you can kind of see, okay, their interests align. Oh, they like hiking. I go hiking all the time. Oh, you like to visit such and such place. I love going there. You can kind of see where you both can kind of meet up in the next dates, and what you guys love to do.
Do you have any? I'm turning 30 in 2 weeks, like little less than 2 weeks.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I don't really have this. I kind of actually am starting to feel it a little bit. My biological clock ticking a little bit. I haven't felt it. I started to like last month.
Oh my goodness.
It's making me a crazy person, I think. But I don't even know if I want kids. That's a whole other story. Anyway, Do you have advice? Because I think a lot of people say that you're in your 30s and you're single. You're starting to worry a little bit about a timeline,
Right.
and figuring things out. So then you put pressure on yourself to have those conversations sooner than maybe you should.
Right.
Do you have any advice for somebody that's feeling that?
Well, I feel like, okay, so for personal, like if you were to think about your life vision and you see kids and you're starting to get, into your 30s, which first of all, I would like to just
30's not old,
throw
I'm not
out.
saying that.
Yeah. Just, I want to throw out for my ladies who do feel that, because that's just, don't let anybody let you believe that there is this biological clock. Yes, biologically, there are some certain things to think about, but when you get into that belief system and that frantic of, oh my goodness, I need to make this decision if I'm going to have kids or not, and I got to find a partner, like that is not the space to be in, and you don't have to be there. There are other, I guess, insurance policies that you could take. Should that be something that you're interested in? My story about IVF, and there are certainly a lot of girlfriends of mine who have frozen their eggs, and, that was kind of their own way. But relationships are really something that you want to, you really, really want to feel connected to before bringing kids into the world. If it's led by this desire to have children, what I unfortunately see is the most important thing that a child needs is to, their stable parents and parents in a loving environment. And so when you lead with that, that can kind of forces you into relationships or puts you in relationships that you may not feel that connected to. But I think for this situation, I think, you guys are in just this beautiful sweet spot of really getting serious about life decisions. And this is not a first date, obviously, they've been together for a while. This is such a sweet spot to now start kind of opening up the discussion. And you are in this beautiful time where it's like, I still have time to really think about if I want a family or not, and what I can do if that's really the route I want to go. But you guys are in this beautiful time where it's like, let's discuss it, and what do we foresee, and where, in 5 years, is this something that is on the table? Is it off the table? Would you be okay if it's off the table for now? How long for it to be off the table that you're okay with it? Really giving yourself that structure so that you feel good about it, So if it's like, okay, if it's off the table right now, how long until we are able to revisit this, for me to feel good about it, So do we revisit this in a year's time, in 6 months' time, maybe 2 years, maybe it's 5 years, maybe 35 is like, that's where we revisit. Am I okay with waiting that long? So that you feel good, because again, you can't force someone to be where they aren't ready to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is this, again, opening up that space, and this is a relationship, this is a good time for you guys to talk about it, but is it on the table in our future? Great. When's the time that would be a time that we can revisit that? Okay. That time, 2 years sounds good for me. I feel good, it sounds like it would work for me, and I wouldn't have like fear attached with biologically.
You're not harboring resentment.
Right.
Yeah.
If 2 years is not a good timing for you, then you renegotiate the terms. Okay, great. It's on the table. That makes me feel relieved, because I do think I want kids. Can we revisit it in a year? Because I want to, in a year, that's when I want to figure out what I want to do. So it's, negotiating those terms. If it's off the table, okay, great. I'm not sure if I want kids anyways, but, I have that, might, and I want that option. So can we revisit this in a year's time? And setting that up for you and for any lady, any of my ladies who are in a relationship where, we didn't want kids, because that happened with me and Andrew. We didn't want kids before, but now I'm kind of thinking I do. Have that conversation and set up a time frame that works for you, that you don't feel stressed about, going too long without this issue getting addressed. And see where that goes. There was something else and then I forgot, but did that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was good. Do you want to get into some
Yes.
questions? Okay. How do you know when you're ready to start dating again after a breakup? I'm scared to try online dating again as I'm scarred from my last relationship and worried about getting hurt. However, I've never been approached by a man in real life, at university or now working full time. So I feel like I have to try dating apps sometime soon. I'm not particularly attractive. Oh no, that's sad. Or very confident in large groups. So I don't seem too attractive to men in real life, but on apps it's easier as I can present a more bubbly, confident version of myself that I aspire to be.
Okay, so first of all, you are very attractive.
Yes.
And you know, your energy is what's attractive. And I think a lot of people get this skewed. I think what's most attractive to majority of people, like when you think of just how you're drawn to your friends and how you're drawn to people in general, for me, women who exude this energy of just connectedness and openness and just this vibrancy about them, that's what is attractive to me, you know, as a woman and who I want in my life, you know. So I want us to get out of, you know, I don't know how you define attraction, but attraction is really just this connection of energy. That's what attract, like when you bring things together, right? Attraction is this connection of energy. And so online, you might feel safer to open up and to present your authentic self. Maybe even on the phone when you're talking to people, you may feel there's like this protective barrier and this safety. And so what could be happening, and and this is just me assuming, which we don't like to assume, but this is just this is as good as it's going to get. That if you are needing this protection, you know, and in order for you to feel more open, in real life, you might be closing yourself energetically. You know, you might have this protective barrier around you where people can feel, okay, maybe I can't approach this person, because unconsciously you might feel like you need to protect yourself, you know, in order until somebody gets to know you and then you open up. From what it sounds like, you know, online it's just more of a physical barrier more than an energetic barrier, which allows you to that openness online. But if you're in real life, what I encourage you to do, because a lot of time I don't think the problem is that people aren't coming up to you or aren't attracted to you, or because they're not attracted to you. It's because you probably have such closed energy right now, because that's the belief system that you're not attractive. And so what I would do is just open yourself up, make eye contact with people, say hello. You might even also have leaned more towards a masculine edge, which is beautiful. It's not something that's not, you know, and so with that, you know, that energies are always playing together, whether we think they are or not. We just may not be aware of it. So if you have, you know, for my beautiful ladies who have that masculine edge and that masculine presence, it might just, that energy is playing with a lot of the other masculine presences, and they might feel like, ooh, what is this? You know, like this. There's this. Well, I could do it with my hands. What is this? This bump
Connection. No.
kind of like a. Now we're playing charades.
Magnet.
No, it's like it's like butting heads, kind of budding, like the energies are kind of like butting heads, and so to the masculine presence, it's like, okay, well, that's not something I want, you know, because the beautiful dance of the masculine, feminine. Again, this has nothing to do with genders. I don't want anyone to get that twisted, but there's a beautiful dance between the masculine and the femme. Those energies that play together, and we have both of them in all of us. So you might be leading out in work and university because it's that structured environment, the do, and getting all of these things done. You're leaning more towards your masculine edge, but you also unconsciously probably have a very closed energetic presence about you, which makes it hard for people to kind of get in, you know? And a lot of people even have the opposite with the feminine, and even with just the feminine energy. If people feel like it's going to be too much of energetically too much of a hassle to get in there, they're they're not that you're not attractive.
Yeah.
It's just that they don't know where to even start.
But also, even the most attractive people, if they are
right.
bad energy, bad personality,
there's an energetic presence to it that people are not attracted to. It's, even for me, if I sense, a woman who's completely disconnected in herself, and, just in the protective, of course, this is the work that I do. But it would be hard for me to even, start a friendship from that or even want to go up and like get to know her. So what I would say is there's a reason why online is good for you, because you feel safe. Mm-hmm. You have that structure where your femme is like open, and you're able to, because you have that protective barrier around you. There might be reasons why, in your past. But there's a reason why your femme is in the essence about you is super open when you're online, because you have that protective. So create that in real life.
Yes.
Create that. You're safe. You have everything you need, to protect yourself and to feel what's not right for you, right? We're always playing with energy, and the more in tune you are with yourself, the more you slow down, the more you start feeling the energies around you, those red flags, and you will protect yourself. You will. So you don't have to close yourself off unconsciously. So you can be open and still be protective of yourself. And so what I would say is create the safety that you experience online in real life.
Good advice. Okay, question 2. Hello. My question is, I have been dating my best friend for about a month now. I have known him for 3 years, and he is a great guy, but I don't see that he is putting the same effort that he was doing before when it comes to spending time together. What should I do? Should I express myself about how I feel, or should I let him be and wait to see what happens?
Okay, so he's not showing up. I would be very specific about how he's not showing up for you now. What was it back then, 3 years ago, that he was doing that's not happening now? And what are the things that you are specifically asking of him to do? Mm-hmm. Because people change. We all change. What me and Andrew, how we showed up in our relationship even 3 years ago is different than how we show up now. For God's sake, really different for how we show up now. Throw a baby in there. It'll change things. People change, the relationship changes. What he needs is different from what he needed. What he needs now is different from what he needed, 3 years ago. So what I would say is be very, very specific. This is the thing that we lack the most in relationships. We feel it's like, something's not right here. I don't feel validated. I don't feel like I'm being taken care of. But then it's like, okay, well, what do you need in order for you to feel seen, for you to feel taken care of, for you to feel loved, for you to feel like he's showing up? That word showing up. What does showing up look like? We've talked about this in past episodes, being very specific about what that looks like, what that feels like. And yes, sure, you can open up that conversation. I think it's really beautiful to start with, we've been together for 3 years and,
No, they were friends for 3 years. They just started dating a month ago.
Okay.
So her thing is she's thinking, okay, he was making an effort, but now that we're dating, the effort's gone. And I think a lot of girls feel this way, that guys will chase you, pursue you, do everything. And then once they have you, they give up.
Oh, okay.
So I think
I see.
That's I'm just... Okay,
so for all the ladies who are in a long-term relationship and had that issue, go ahead and take that advice. This is something different. Okay, so you guys are still dating. So there's opportunity here.
Yes.
You guys are just newly dating. I would first start with what you loved about the friendship and what ways he can show up, because I think when you start out as friends, I think that there's kind of some blurred lines there about, how, in his mind, he might think, oh, well, I do care about you. I wanted to be with you for all this time, and we've been friends for all this time, and now we're finally together, and this is all, I, again, go back to the specifics about what it is that you want now that you've transitioned friendship into a real intimate relationship. Well, what does intimacy look like for you? Because personal relationships are different from intimate relationships, and you guys been in the personal for 3 years. So open it up to that intimate. What does intimacy look like to you? What do you want to feel? What would you want to experience with him? What would he want? And so that you guys can kind of like navigate these new waters together. And I think coming from a place of, well, I feel like you did the X, Y's, and Z's before, but now you're not doing it. That's just not that you won't have leverage in that conversation. So I think really, coming from a place of, hey, we're in these new waters together. We're getting to know each other intimately. Like, what are some things that you desire? Like, what are some things that you need, and open up sex and that whole conversation. It's really scary for a lot of people to talk about, but like open it up. And then you can talk about, well, this, I would love, these are some things that really get me excited.
Well, and he might think everything's going well. And
sure.
He has no idea that she's 100%
things. Yeah, 100% things.
Guys don't know. And when I'm like, have a good night, I don't mean it. And they're like, thank you so much. Do. I'm like, no, I didn't mean it. I meant have a terrible night.
Yeah, don't do that, lady.
Last night. I'm like, have a great night. Have a good
night. They're like, oh my God, thanks,
they're like,
babe.
That's so sweet. She just wanted me to have a good night with my
You're
friends.
No.
Like, no, I want you to have a terrible night with your friends. Also, for long distance relationships, my boyfriend's dream would be to never talk to anyone.
Right.
He works today. He's like, I work 40 hours a day. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how you use maid day hours in the day, but that's okay. But I had to have like a come to Jesus with him last week because I'm like, I need to talk to you every day on the phone.
Yep.
Because he doesn't want to, and I get it, because he talks on the phone all day for work, like his last thing, and I get it. But I'm like, even if it's just like, hi, thinking about you, I just want to hear your voice every day.
You get it, but it's like, but there are, you have to meet each other in the relationship,
yes. But as opposed to me just being like, I need more attention, I need this, I need that. I like specifically told him, you need to talk to me on the phone every day or I'm not going to be happy.
Right.
And he's fine with it. But I had to give him specifics because I can't just be like, I need attention.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, you're crazy.
Well, and then he's going to think that, his way of giving
like,
attention
giving you
is
attention.
Right. And you're like, no, this is not.
Then
You have to. But being that specific
yes,
is really,
I had to.
critical. And also just like, I think, meeting your partner, always meeting your partner, because I think we always get fixated on our needs. That it's like, if you want to transform any relationship, it's to focus on your partner's needs. And of course, yeah, there might be an end point. I would say give it a timeline. If you're in the mix of, you've been with somebody for a long time and you guys have been struggling for a very long time to really get it, give yourself a time frame. Give it a month, or give yourself like 3 months of just going all in with your partner, really coming from appreciation, really, serving their needs, and then seeing if that opens up the relationship and changes the relationship, because it takes one person to change the relationship. And of course, if I were talking to them too, I'd give them that responsibility, but it really just takes one person to change the relationship. And then you can see, like in a month's, 2 months time, you give yourself that deadline, right? Like going back to that baby talk, really set up a time frame that you feel comfortable doing that without expectation, right? Sometimes it's like, okay, I'll do this for a solid month, okay? And really just give yourself that that net of this is, as long as this is, I'm going to give myself this month to really go all in with my partner's needs and desires and see how that transforms the relationship, and seeing if we're showing up together, And then after that, you can make a decision on whether this is the relationship for you.
Yeah. I had one more tip for online dating just came to my mind.
Okay.
Thank you to my friend if you're watching this, because you give me all my inspiration. Okay. She was dating this guy for a month.
Yeah.
They met on Bumble or Hinge, one of those apps. And he told her that he had just sold a tech company, or like a Medicare, some type of company, like an app.
Yeah.
So in her mind, she's thinking, okay, like he's doing well, he's great. It turns out he was poor.
Oh my goodness.
Which is fine, because I don't care, and she didn't care.
Yeah.
But it's the honesty that needs to be up front, and don't present yourself as something that you're not.
That's the thing.
Because then you get into a relationship with someone and you're a month into it and they discover what the truth is.
Yeah. And it's what I can't believe that happened.
No, then there's more to the story.
Oh my gosh.
Is
she okay with you sharing this?
She will be. Then they just broke up, so that's why I'm sharing it.
Okay.
Because they broke up yesterday.
Okay.
Then he's telling her that he loves her like after a week when they don't even know each other. Really.
Okay.
And he spent no time getting to know her. but he's in love with her. It's just a whole disaster.
There's red flag. Yeah, I'm glad she caught that and nipped that in the bud. But at this, yeah, you definitely don't want to present something you're not, and that goes. Go ahead.
No,
you're
for
going to
both
say something
people. For
both people, because a lot of girls present the cool girl facade of, I'm just so chill and I just, I love football. By the way, football. Super Bowl's going on right now.
We're here.
Could care. Andrew's like, can you please watch it? Because he's out there right now. I'm like, yes, I'm going to be filming.
We have a podcast to record.
We do have a podcast, but Rowan is decked out in the Chiefs. If anybody is not a Chiefs fan, sorry, but he's decked out in Chiefs gear right now. But I think that is crazy.
Be transparent. Because people are going to find out, and you can't keep this illusion.
And there's nothing wrong with, you don't have to, the thing is we live in a society where it's you're expected to have all these things and do X, Y's, and Z's, that it's almost like we have to present a mask of ourselves. And it's just you don't need to do that, because eventually if you're trying to start a relationship with someone, they're going to find out. And it's you want to build a solid foundation with somebody who is able to see where you're at.
And I want someone to love me for who I am, not for this facade that I've presented to them.
Right.
Where I'm like, I'm a tech mogul. Twitter.
Well, we're definitely not, because we don't know how to work our cameras. So actually, it's not really our fault.
Today.
But
I'm so happy. Okay, I think that's it for today.
Well, I think that was really fun. Guys, I would love to hear some dating stories. I think we should, we kind of shared our little hot mess of a story, but I would love to hear some dating stories gone wrong, but fun ones. I don't want to hear just some dating stories gone wrong. And I think we should definitely do an episode on just you. I have for sure have so many.
I love.
I think that would be fun. I really, really want to hear them, and then maybe we'll talk about them in the next episode.
Yes.
Just using some of your comments and your stories, and just we can kind of shoot the shit about it and stuff. We will not use your name.
No, everything's confidential.
Everything is confidential. But if you're commenting, you obviously feel okay with it being out there. But we still won't say
the beauty of YouTube though is that it's just a username.
Right.
So nobody knows.
Well, and even if it's nobody knows who you're talking about, and we all have some crazy dating stories. But that was a lot of fun. Please let me know down in the comments below. Let us know. What did you get out of this? And obviously your dating stories. And was there something else?
If you have any tips too, leave them below. Because I would like to know if anyone else has any other tips.
Yep.
I just really would love to hear some dating stories.
I know.
I'm
that
excited.
Is so funny. I would that is the stuff that excites us.
Me too.
So, all right, ladies, you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. And it's Valentine's Day coming up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You know how we feel about Valentine's, single or in a relationship. It's all about you, boo. You can bring a lot of love and connection into your life every single day. It doesn't have to be one day. But since we're on the Valentine's kick, we need to throw out Woo More Play. Because, I've talked about it in a previous episode, but it is the lube of the century.
The decade. Oh, wait, century's longer than a decade. Okay.
Well, yeah,
I just got
almost
here.
Decade. I think it's such a beautiful oil. And, I kind of went into Team My last episode about lubes in the past that have given me rashes and just not have been a thing for me. And my skin's really sensitive anyways, but this you can actually use as essential oil on your skin. Andrew and I use it. It doesn't do you love it?
I'm obsessed with it.
Okay. Because we do not say anything that we do not love.
I think I said this on 2 episodes ago.
Did we? We just keep talking about them.
How gross can I get on this podcast?
If you have kids, just put headphones on.
This is R-rated. I love to give blowjobs, which is probably every guy's dream. It's if a hobby is Pilates, walking, blowjobs. Those are like my 3
Oh
hobbies
God,
in
now we're
life.
going to get some creepy comments in there.
I know, sorry. But this is the best because it makes it taste like a cupcake. So the flavor of it's so delicious. So if you're like, if you have like a nasty gag reflex or something and you hate the taste of someone's member, then this is like a good little tip.
Actually, this is a really good tip because I think a lot of times, it's some women do not like it.
No, like
you
if
know,
you're
and
repulsed by the taste of it.
but also the gag reflex. That's another topic.
not
a
a gag
topic.
reflex is bad.
I actually went to God, we're going on a side tangent.
We were just trying to end this episode and now we just went.
Okay, we're on a side tangent. Okay, as long as, your kids are not present, ladies.
We should just make this a 2-parter. We just like start talking about sex for the second part.
Right. No, honestly, that's where this is going. I love how we said
dark.
We literally said we're going to make this one a 30-minute episode. It's now an hour, 57 minutes, whatever. I was at this event and I have to see if this organization is still alive and well. But anyways, it was called OM.
Yeah.
And the event that I was at, they actually taught how to give a proper blowjob. It was actually very, very educational and actually very useful. And what you like, this is after dark. I'm not going to get into the technical, practices, but it changed the game. But also, once you get to the point, this is so ridiculous. You just keep going. That actually is once you do the first cough, you won't cough again.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not again in that time.
Okay.
I mean, you could try it. That's what I mean. Again, I'm not.
Valentine's Day.
I am not. Please don't quote me on that. I am not. This is not my field. But like, it actually changed the game, and there was proper ways to do it. And it actually was very insightful, and it was a great. It was a relationship event, and it just opened up and expanded our whole world. It wasn't just about sex because, as you know, intimacy is not just sex, but it definitely changed the game for blowjobs for me. And yes, this Woo More Play is the absolute best. If you are bringing anything into the bedroom, this is what, this has to be like, travel with it. I mean, I take mine everywhere. Every time Andrew and I are going to be doing a trip together and, we're going to be going on a trip for Valentine's Day coming up. Woo More Play is going to be in there. That loop.
And they just came out with travel ones. Little travel
packets.
And they have wipes. So if you're feeling a little dirty, just wipe it.
There you go.
You're good to go.
Yep.
As we like to call it, a horse shower. You get the armpits, the undercarriage.
Honestly, I need one for my armpits right now.
I do too.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, so we were just talking about sex.
Okay.
Which is
so it went from do's and don'ts to just sex. But also for my single ladies, they came out with a vibrator. I'm actually excited to try it.
I haven't
because
yet.
I love since I've had Rowan, I haven't really gotten into the research of it. But I've never tried their vibrator. I can't wait to try it. And I think, and the packaging and everything is just so beautiful, but there are certain vibrators that I actually do love and I do recommend. Haven't used them for a while. But that would be something that we can some products that we like, sex products that we love. Do you use a vibrator?
Every time.
Oh, okay.
Every time.
Really?
Literally every time.
Okay. That's amazing.
No, not every time.
Okay. So you
also, what I like though is that I'm dating a man who's not scared of a vibrator.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't want sex to last more than like 10 minutes. Like I have stuff to do. And with a vibrator, it's like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I'm thrilled. He's thrilled.
Yeah.
And everyone's happy.
Yep. Well, I think, and I think for my single ladies, like have a vibrator, especially when you're exploring your sensuality and your sexuality. It's like, these are tools to use and to get used to and to not be shamed, by and to just explore your body and just to pleasure yourself, So I think, I definitely can't wait to try theirs, but I do have my favorite. So if you guys are interested.
I have the same one as you.
Which one?
I saw yours.
Wait, which one?
I saw it like a year.
Did you get it?
No, I saw it a year and a half ago. I've had it for 5 years.
Really?
I've had the same vibrator for 5 years.
Okay, because it was $200
raving reviews
about it. Wait, which one?
The pink one.
Oh, yeah. I've had that for.
I've had it for 5 years.
Yeah, I've had it for long
Since
time.
I was married, I've had it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not married now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, this podcast went off the rails. But we were in your little chest one day. It was like you were still living on the strip, and I like we're going through your stuff. I'm like, I have the same vibrator as you.
Oh my God, that's a good vibrator.
It's the best.
Yeah,
I've had
it
it
is
for
the
5
best.
years. It has like a little charging thing. It's waterproof. It
Yep.
floats.
But there's one that's $30. That's really, really good.
What?
I'm
going on Amazon right now.
No, it's. I actually got it on Goop. No, you know what? We'll put all this. We'll do like a whole. I think that would be. If you guys are interested in the naughty, let us know.
Can we talk about Gwyneth Paltrow though selling a candle that smells like her vagina?
I think that's funny.
What do you think
I love
smells
it.
like?
I don't know, like sandalwood or like the redwood forest. I don't know. She's so like natural and like who knows, like
It's
something
probably amazing.
lemongrass. Like yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness.
Okay, well that went off the rails. Thank you so much for
Yes,
listening.
you could take your headphones off now. We'll be good.
Subscribe, comment, like,
Please.
rate, review.
And if you guys get anything out of our episodes, please share with your girlfriends, your cousins, your sisters, your aunties.
Just not with my boyfriend.
Just not with Tim. And you can share with Andrew. He's not going to care.
No.
He's not going to watch it either way. I literally could have a title of an episode all about Andrew, and his friends will be like, "Oh my God, did you hear what Christal said?" And he'd be like, "Don't care." Anyways, ladies, please enjoy your week and your celebrations, either with a person, without a person. You are your person, so start there. And we'll see you next week.